Reggae Just Extra with Ras Dennis.
The reggae music industry has over the years lost so many of its foot soldiers, not just by natural causes or accidents, but also by unlawful killings, robbery, rivalry, and guns and drugs related. The likes of Peter Tosh, Carlton Barrett, Early B, Prince Farai, Junior Braithwaite, King Tubby, Nitty Gritty, and Lucky Dubé, to mention a few, died by gunshots. They are gone, but their voices will continue to echo across space and time, thanks to their songs. This is Ras Dennis welcoming you to another video by Reggae Just Extra. This episode is about unveiling the circumstances behind the tragic death of Hugh Mundell and Tenor. Both were considered as the most influential singers of the early digital reggae era. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, kindly click on the subscription button, like, and hit the notification bell to be the first to watch our next video.
You're now watching Reggae Just Extra with Ras Dennis.
Hugh Mundell. Mundell was born the fourth child and only boy to Teresa and Alvin Mundell. Alvin Mundell was a successful lawyer. Hugh attended St. Margaret's Preparatory School, Kingsway Preparatory School, and the Ardennes High School before pursuing a career in music. Most thought that Mundell would become an athlete because he was known to be a competitive runner and routinely participated in street running races with other neighborhood youth. Mundell grew up just houses away from three other youth who would also go on to become reggae singers: Winston McAnuff, Earl 16 Daly, and Yabby U Protoge Wayne Wade. Mundell was introduced to reggae by reggae performer and producer Boris Gardner, who was a friend of the family. Mundell was at Joe Gibbs' studio the day that Winston McAnuff recorded the song Malcolm X. Joe Gibbs offers Mundell the opportunity to record, and they lay down a track titled Where Is Natty Dread. The track is never pressed to vinyl. It is at Gibbs' studio that he meets dub maestro Augustus Pablo. Between 1976 and 1978, Mundell and Pablo laid the tracks for what would ultimately become Mundell's debut LP, Africa Must Be Freed, by 1983. Produced by Augustus Pablo, Mundell wrote every song on the record. He was a major influence on Junior Reid, who was 3 years younger, and Mundell was the first to record Reid. He also kept a close friendship with Reid's friend Laxley Castell, who, like Reid, hailed from Waterhouse. Mundell was shot to death on October 14, 1983, while sitting in his vehicle on Grants Pen Avenue, Kingston, Jamaica. Also in the car were Mundell's wife in the passenger seat and Junior Reid, who was sitting in the back seat. Reid survived the assault and spoke in great detail about it in a 1985 interview. According to him, they drove down to Montego Bay to spend some time with Mundell's mother. When they returned to Kingston, Mundell went up to his home upon the hill, and he went to his house in Waterhouse. And then, Mundell visited him in the night and told him that his house was burgled, his stove, blender, and other things disappeared. So, the next day, both went to Mundell's home, and some people from next door explained that they saw a guy walking around Mundell's premises with a suitcase in his hand. And to the description that they got, they figured out who the guy was. Then, Mundell went to the guy and tried to talk to him peaceful about the burglary, but the guy pretended like he didn't know what he was talking about. Mundell asked the guy to hop in this car so that they can drive around and ask somebody something. When he got in, they drove straight to a police station, and Mundell turned the guy into the police. 2 days later, Mundell and Reid went to collect some money owed by a local promoter. The promoter requested that they check back. Upon returning to the promoter's house, Mundell got his money. While they were leaving the promoter's house, they saw a guy flagged down the car. Mundell stops the car only to then realize that he was Ricardo Codrington, the brother of the guy in police custody. He came to the car and asked, "Mundell, where's my brother?" Mundell replied, "Well, your brother is in custody, and I am not gonna let him go until I get my things." Mundell's lady was sitting at the passenger seat at the front of the car while Reed was sitting at the back of the car, and Mundell was on the right-hand side. The guy say, "Well, if I can't get my brother, you ain't gonna leave here." So, Mundell say, "What are you talking about? I have to get back my things before I let your brother loose." An argument ensues. Mundell tried to drive off, and the guy brought out a gun from his waist and fired a shot. Junior Reed had to play dead before he took off, jumps a truck to the police station. He returned with police to the scene of the murder. Reed stays at the hospital at Mundell's side from 5 p.m. until just after 5 a.m. when Mundell was removed from life support. His head was badly hit. He was 21 years old. Mundell was laid to rest on Sunday, October 30th, 1983 at the Dovecot Memorial Park in Montego Bay. Services were held at the Dovecot Chapel. Hugh left behind a grieving father, mother, 3 sisters, a brother, 2 children, and countless fans around the globe, including Ras Dennis. On Friday, November 22, 1985, 25-year-old Ricardo Codrington, sentenced to 10 years imprisonment at hard labor for the murder of Hugh Mundell. As if that wasn't enough for a family to bear. Andrea Mundell Bowen, the sister of late reggae pioneer Hugh Mundell, was equally killed on her coffee farm in Golden Spring, St. Andrew on Thursday night in 2015. Early reports are that she was raped before she was brutally murdered, and her body hidden under bushes. Tenor was born Clive Bright in West Kingston, Jamaica on December 2, 1966. His mother was a church-going lady, and it was in church that young Clive first exhibited his singing skills. In his teen years, probably bitten by the music bug and knowing that his religious mother would not approve of his musical ambitions, he went to live with his father in another part of Kingston. Clive would still visit his mother, but she wondered why he preferred living with his father. Mama Cherry had no idea her son was pursuing music until a friend told her that they heard one of his songs on the radio. That song was the religious-tinged Roll Call, produced by George Fang and released on the Powerhouse label in 1984. It was in 1985 that Tenor would get his first big hit with the song Pumpkin Belly on the Slington rhythm. That same year, he would record arguably his biggest hit, Ring the Alarm, on the Stalag 17 rhythm.
Reggae Just Extra with Ras Dennis.
Tenor was in demand and was riding high on the success of his recent releases. America was calling, and Saw answered. According to his mother, he fell in love with America and would spend more and more time in the U.S. Tenor left Jamaica for the last time in 1986. By 1987, he was touring extensively with reggae legend Freddie McGregor. Rumors started going around that he was abusing drugs and was not all there mentally. In 1988, Tenor was signed to RAS Records with the hopes of releasing an album. When it was time to record, Saul was a no-show.
Tenor was a very spiritual youth, went through a lot of struggle, so he was the kind of youth that needed guidance and protection, along his musical career. And I guess somewhere along the line, there was no one to guide him, after all, leaving youth promotion and going out there in the world.
In August 1988, Tenor was found dead by the side of a road in Houston, Texas, a few days after performing. His legs were broken and he had suffered severe head injuries, but the official cause of death on the autopsy was bronchial pneumonia, which meant he likely spent many hours, maybe days, by the roadside before dying. The police ruled the death as a hit and run and didn't investigate any further. Many people to this day do not accept that ruling and insists that there was foul play involved. Some think it was the result of a disagreement with promoters, while others believe Tenor had gotten mixed up with gangs and drug dealers who were responsible for his death. There's even a few people who blamed another Jamaican reggae artist for the killing, Supercat. That remained just a rumor until July 2019 at a party in Brooklyn. An apparently drunken Supercat got into an argument with Yami Bolo.
I should have blood clot, kill you. I should have Tenor song, then I should have you that holy money with your
The video quickly spread around the worldwide reggae community and reignited the rumors of Supercat's involvement. Supercat was never investigated at the time. Instead, Tenor Saw's friend Glenn Holness, better known as rising reggae star Nitty Gritty, was suspected. Oddly, Jamaican newspaper The Gleaner reported in October 1988 that Tenor Saw had been shot in New York after an argument. That report proved to be a little prophetic 3 years later in June 1991. On June 24, 1991, Nitty Gritty was shot dead in front of Superpower Record Shop in Brooklyn, New York at the age of 34. It was rumored that Nitty Gritty accused Supercat of killing Tenor Saw, and the altercation ended with Nitty Gritty being killed. NYPD initially arrested and charged Supercat, but he was later cleared on the grounds of self-defense, as witnesses said Nitty Gritty had attempted to shoot first. Despite a career lasting less than 5 years, Clive Bright aka Tenor Saw managed to establish himself as one of the most unique and influential reggae artists of all time. Tenor Saw died on August 1988 at the age of 21, though some sources said 22 years. It might interest you to know that Hugh Mundell equally died at the age of 21. May their souls continue to rest in the bosom of the Almighty Creator. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe, give it a like, post a positive comment in the comment section below, and I'll see you again very soon for another video. Much effort is made to ensure all materials in Reggae Gist Extras videos fall within the guidelines of fair use. No copyright infringement is intended. If you are or represent the copyright owner of any materials accidentally used in this video and have an issue with its use, please contact me, rasdennisinfo@gmail.com, and I will respond as soon as possible.
Many thanks for watching Reggae Gist Extra with Ras Dennis.
Oh.